see your face.
I know. Look at you, all shiny today. In your makeup. You look beautiful, dear.
Thank you. Thank you. As do you.
What is going on? Welcome to I don't even know what week this is. Week 7? Week 7 of these conversations. And how are you doing, dear?
I'm doing fabulous, amazing, great. Hi.
Yeah. Oh my God. Let's drink our tea.
Yes, indeed.
What is this week's tea?
This week's tea, it's not something that happened overnight. I would definitely have to say that going to the event injected some new energy.
From the big leap, right?
From the big leap. Mm-hmm. It injected new energy, and when you're in a space, the energy that you put forth is what you will continue to attract.
Yeah.
Right. And so in that space, just one thing started to open up after the other. I spoke with Tamara, and I don't know if you recall, but while she was doing her piece, quite a few times, it's like she was chanting some words. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't remember. I would hear some of what she said, but I was totally drawn to it. So fast forward, I had a conversation with her after, and she shared with me where she got the excerpt from. And I actually bought the book and read it, The Science of Getting Rich, mm-hmm. by Wallace D. Wattles. Mm-hmm. And I have it on my phone. I have it in different places just so that I can keep my eye on it. Let me read it for you.
Yes.
There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imaged by the thought. We can form things in our thought, and by impressing our thought upon divine substance can cause the thing we think about to be created. Right? And so, as I stated, I couldn't fully catch all of the words, but I knew that I was being drawn to it. And 5 years ago, in 2017, where I was introduced to The Secret and I started to read Eckhart Tolle's A New Earth, I read a book by the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu called A Book of Joy. It was just a whole new revelation for me, right? And there were some beliefs that I had internalized. And in so doing, during that time, it was a really, really good time for me. Like literally anything that I thought of was in my space. I was able to get front tickets at Apollo to see Oprah. Like what? Literally, yes.
What? Are you kidding me?
Front seats.
Wow.
Front seats. And here there was a point where I called myself trying to take a selfie with her in the background because they were putting makeup, and she saw me and started waving.
No.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes and yes. During that time, I actually saw Eckhart Tolle live in the city. During that time, I went to a book signing with Deepak Chopra. I have the book that he signed for me, like all within that time.
Wow.
Right? And I had just learned about Brene Brown because I started listening to Oprah's podcast back then. I specifically remember I stayed home intentionally because I was so engulfed in all of this information that was coming to me.
Yeah.
And so I stayed home, and this is when, I learned about Brene Brown. She had done a podcast with Oprah, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Can I tell you, I also saw Brene Brown in this city as well. Like literally between the years of 2017 and 2018, mm-hmm. all of that had happened. And it literally took place after I had read The Secret, and I was kind of like in this zone, mm-hmm. right?
You were in the flow right there. These are like amazing top tier transformational self-work people, like let everybody know these are your top people to watch and listen to.
And dude, not even like it was costing 500, like totally reasonable.
Yeah.
People calling me from out the blue, me just stumbling upon an email. It's like, wait a minute, are they actually saying that Deepak Chopra is going to be at the Strand in the city? Like, I'm there.
Yeah.
I wasn't someone who liked to drive.
Yeah.
Never mind driving to the city. I drove myself to the city, parked, waited online by myself, and got, his tips and tricks, and then his signing. I have pictures of all of this.
Wow.
Okay. So as time went on, in Sunrise's podcast, when you're up, you're just like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is dope, and it's gonna keep going. Right. But then I started to slack in the routines that I had created for myself. I wasn't meditating regularly. I wasn't praying as intensely as I had prayed during those times. I wasn't doing my gratitude journals, and hindsight 2020, here we are today. Right. And so the reason I bring this up is because the level of excitement and joy that I feel literally seeping through my pores is what I had experienced back then. And when I lost it, I couldn't figure out what it was that was happening during that time in my life that had me feeling so great. I just couldn't put two and two together. Till recently, when I started to read The Science of Getting Rich, which then led me to, and prior to me reading The Science of Getting Rich, I don't know, I may have mentioned this to you. I was reading Jack Canfield's The Success Principles. And with me and reading, be it audio or text, if it doesn't hold my interest, normally I'm not going to complete the book. I'm not one of those go hards. It's like, no, I started it, I need to finish it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. If it's not going to hold me, I'm not going to.
Yeah. If it's not serving me, then I just put it to the side.
Yeah.
However, I do feel that I was still being obedient in that I was still kind of allowing myself to be drawn to a certain way of thinking. And so that kind of opened the door. It led me to The Science of Getting Rich, which led me to a book that Regine suggested. I'm still reading it. It's freaking amazing. It's Ask and It Will Be Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks. They're this older married couple. And what else? Oh, and then I bought this. I don't know if you can see it. I have a tattoo on the back of my neck. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, story behind the tattoo. Went to Vegas with my girls, never had a tattoo before. And I'm always somebody that's like, if I do something, like I'm not going to have something that's going to be on my body for the rest of my life and it not have some type of
meaning,
anchoring meaning for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Celtic knot. It's also called the Trinity knot. So I was drawn to that symbol, and more so because I have 3 boys. So I think, right? And so in the Christian faith, it represents the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And I was like, what better way to honor my kids?
Yeah.
What I had so there's a bit of a modification that I made to the knot, the Trinity knot. I had the artist put a little line through each one so that it looked like A's, and all 3 of my boys' names starts with A. Ayende, Amin, and Amal.
Yeah.
Right. So boom, the story behind the tattoo. Fast forward, my eldest son, Ayende, he didn't go back to school after he graduated high school. He wants to be an entrepreneur. And so he started, in fact, he sells these hoodies and
I followed him.
Yes. So the symbol that he uses is the symbol of my tattoo on the back of my neck.
Love it.
Okay. So I'm, how we do with the scrolling on Instagram. And I'm always drawn to journals. I'm always drawn to different things. This particular journal had the exact same Trinity knot
Wow.
on it. So I was like, I'm going to get this.
Mm-hmm.
Lo and behold, it's not just a journal, but it's like a book that speaks to the exact same things that I've been reading in the text that I've mentioned earlier. And yeah, it's just been one thing after the other. And I'm starting to remember again. You know, Anthony and I have had 2 sessions with the couples therapist. So we started that process.
Yeah.
And I think I also shared with you that I wanted to have my own individual therapy.
Yeah.
But right now, I kind of want to feel how this is going first. I feel like there's just so much going on that I want to kind of take a breather so that I can assess and make decisions accordingly. Right. So I'm not going to see the therapist, but I'm going to put it on pause, maybe for another 2 or 3 weeks until I can see what's coming out of this, these sessions that I'm having with Anthony. And the last session that we had, she was saying some things that were triggering for me, where in the moment I was feeling like she was siding with him. Right. And so for me, it feels like it's bad enough that I don't get him to understand. Now I have 2 people on the other side not understand. Right. And honestly, with those types of feelings, like I would have constantly created a story around it and I would have shelled up.
Yeah.
Right. But because of the space that I'm in, I just feel like there isn't anything that's happening to me. And I'm remembering again that everything that comes, it's because it's for me and for me to evolve so that there's another level of mastery that I have under my belt. Or whatever this divine being is that's sprouting out in this world.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm really enjoying the process, Linda.
I love it.
Really, really good. I didn't finish what I started with how I was feeling within the therapy session. I felt the way that I felt, but I was able to communicate that with Anthony afterwards. And I let him know that because I have this different mindset, or I'm at least living in this mindset now, I want to be able to use these challenges as an opportunity, you know, and not just holding on to how it's making me feel, like literally rising above those things. You know, I totally understand that everything that comes into my space is here for a reason. And I don't want to just echo those words anymore. Like I want to be able to live in them. Because, you know, the posts that I have on Instagram, when I post, as I've shared before, they're messages for me.
Yeah.
You know, so if they resonate with other people, cool. But these are things that keep me grounded, that keep me reminded, that I can use as a reference. And one of the things that I posted spoke to having confidence in myself is literally me legitimizing God and having faith in what he's doing for me. And so, you know, I don't want to just have them as posts. I want to be able to just walk in that.
Yeah.
Despite how challenging it may feel, you know, we have to be responsible with what we know. Right. And it's not okay at this point, at this juncture for me to know this information and to kind of skirt around it because I'm allowing my feelings to lead. You know, if that makes any sense.
No, all of it makes sense. Totally. Like I saw your post today and it was perfect because it's like a retraining to be able to sit in it, because since our past, it's hard to stay in that space because I'll have my highs and lows and I'm kind of feeling like I'm going through a low. And so I have to push myself. Like it could have been easily enough for me to be like, you know what, Tam, I'm not feeling well today. Let's go off another week so I can put myself together. So I had to literally talk myself back into it of like, no, like, let's just have the conversation because I can't stay in this space where I'm in a low. And so I had to literally push myself to get back on this conversation with you because 1, I want to know how you're doing. 2, I realized like I can't stay in this space because it's not beneficial to me. And what am I going to do? Just stay in that low energy? No, I have to have these conversations with people because it's those conversations that also help me and support me and will help somebody else as well. So I had to push myself back into this flow of it because,
Yeah.
it's hard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It is. It's very challenging. And for me, when I'm in a place where I'm feeling so high, it doesn't take much for me to notice when there's even just a little bit of something that's low vibrating.
Mhm.
A couple of times during these weeks, I've noticed where my thoughts were going.
Yeah.
I was literally able to be still in it, realize that they're just thoughts, and start putting other thoughts or memories that make me feel good, or putting on music, or calling Regine because I know that I'm bound to get a laugh out of her, and doing these things. Like, we have these resources,
Yeah.
right? And I think that we're just so much better off when we allow ourselves to tap into it.
Yeah, I totally
You know?
agree. And then not get so hard on ourselves if we do get the little bit of the low and
Yeah,
realize like even though that low is there, it's okay and we don't have to stay there for long. And I applaud you also to go through this journey too, to show your lows and show your highs because it shows that we're all human and we're gonna have those ups and downs and to not beat yourself up when you do have those little bits of lows that we have to help each other and support and like I text you today, I'm like, I'm gonna need you to help me hold some
yeah,
space for me too, because we're both gonna have a little yin and yang of balance as we
yes,
go through this.
absolutely.
Mhm.
And it's okay, because even when those things come into our space, it's saying, hey, Linda, something is off balance here.
Yep.
Take a pause on it. What's happening?
Hmm.
Revisit those feelings. And I mean, you know it better than me. What is this really about?
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
yeah, like and one of the things I so this morning I pushed myself and I went to the park that's near a beach by me. I'm like, okay, I got to get to water,
Mhm.
because water is so peaceful and people just need to get to water because the energy of it. So I was like, I'm just even though I'm in the space, I'm just gonna drive myself to the park and take a walk. And I realized like really all of this is coming because I'm like writing my book as well. So that's gonna cause a lot of triggers and stirring up of emotions. So um I did accomplish one thing. Evolution of my book is like I'm going to rewrite my stories to be more poetic and poems
Okay.
instead of literal stories of it. So I'm going to transform some of those stories to little poems. And I
Like
took
that.
one of them and I sent it out to a couple of my friends to read, and they thought that was a great direction for me to go in. So that will be the next evolution of it. So I think it's just unpacking of the book, and it's gonna
Mhm.
translate and stir up in everything in my life, really,
Yeah.
for me to
Yeah.
analyze everything. So that's
Yeah.
where it's coming from. And I think that's my low space of feelings now.
Yeah. And I think that that's okay,
Hmm.
because those things have to come up because they're inside of you. And so you're going to have to, find the resolve for that for yourself.
Yep. Yep.
You wouldn't be able to if they weren't coming up, if it wasn't coming up in these low vibrating fields.
Yeah.
So everything has a purpose. Each phase that we're in is, I don't think, less than or greater than the next.
Hmm.
The feelings that come with it is a part of the process. We're
Yeah.
the ones who are big on labeling and saying that, this is a shit type of moment for myself, where this shit moment is actually exactly what you need to level up,
Yeah. Mhm.
So
And
I can believe that
I had a really, really vivid, weird dream that it was weird. My mom was in it because my mom had passed away in 2013. So my mom was in it, my dad was in it, and I was in it. And um, so it was weird. It was like my father was dying and my mom was helping him. and they put him into, like, he wanted to die. So like they're like, okay, well, he wants to die, so he was in, like, for some reason, like an old school Chinese luggage.
Hmm.
And it was a really small carry-on luggage. And then the funeral person was going to put him into a coffin. And for some reason they opened the luggage, and then he popped up and like opened his eyes, and it like startled everybody. And then they quickly closed him up and then put him into the coffin. And I was like, and it was so vivid and scary at the same time. But I just had this feeling of like my mom was helping him. He didn't want to live anymore. He was done. He was going. And I was just like, what is this? Like, so I don't know. That was my dream.
That's wild.
Yeah. So I guess it goes, I mean, my friend was telling me like maybe it goes along with my journey now of like finding resolve of all of it, and, you know, getting to that point where I'm almost close to finding some sort of
closure
for that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Mm-hmm.
You
Because
know,
that relates to relationships as well, you know. So maybe eventually like that's closure of that, and the next evolution of having like a healthy relationship, you know, like that's something that I really need to learn of a healthy adult relationship.
yeah. And with what I'm doing with myself is that like I'm the point of reference for anything and for everybody, you know, so literally, though I'm doing couples therapy, outside of that, the work that I'm doing is on me.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm in a space where I'm learning myself or I'm remembering myself.
Yeah.
I'm just enjoying loving myself,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I feel like for me, because my cup is being filled inward,
Mm-hmm.
I have more to offer.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not thinking about my kids. Of course, I'm thinking about my kids, but I'm not thinking about them right now while I'm working on me. And an example of, you know, what they may have done or said that would have frustrated me. Those are not the things that I'm highlighting anymore. You know, the work is for Tam to resolve um, whatever it is that's unresolved, that needs to come up, that needs to show itself so that I can take it head on and move from it,
Yeah.
you know, and start literally attaching a new story, you know, even the book, that I'm writing, like, I was just so inspired. I've just been kind of writing down what comes to mind on the laptop. And you know, I think that I had to start thinking about what my intentions are for the book.
Mm-hmm.
And initially, I would say that the intent was allowing my story to be heard,
Mm-hmm.
right? And now it shifted to more of a, I don't know, like things are not
Yeah.
permanent,
Yeah.
you know? And I want people to know, women, men and children, you know, whatever stage that you may be, like there is life after darkness. Like it doesn't have to be this thing that looms over your reality forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these are things that happen in the moment, and even the joyous occasions, even those times are things that happen in the moment until the next thing comes.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, just understanding like this ebb and flow that happens, this you know, in and out that is inevitable in this world. Like that's what it is.
Yeah.
And connecting to my true self, that joy that I'm talking about, that I'm feeling right now. You know, my job right now is to pretty much add fuel to that. You
Mm-hmm.
know, look for more reasons to add to it.
Yeah.
know, while I'm experiencing it, because I don't know, in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks, that's not what I'm projecting on myself, but I don't know, and allowing myself to learn that my outside circumstances do not and should not interfere with what I feel inside, because I am divine.
Yeah.
I am the creator. I am so just trying to, remain in that space and trusting myself, because to tell you the truth, I don't know what direction I want to go with my book.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what I want in terms of how I want to utilize my skills in the world. Those answers are still unanswered.
Evolving. Yeah, it's
Those
okay.
questions are still unanswered, and before, I'm like, I'm 48 and my kids are grown, and, I just need to get it together. But I'm trusting in this process. I'm trusting that each thing that happens in each moment is leading me to where I want to be eventually,
Yeah.
and I don't even like to speak into the future, because like I'm creating now as I speak to you. I'm already a book author. I am that.
Yeah.
Right now, do I have physical evidence? No, but I think internalizing it and confirming it inside first is where process begins.
Yeah.
Because if I am creator, then I need to be able to just create and trust that process.
Yeah, I think Sunrise did it too, where she visualized herself walking through and like getting the degree and the diploma and then shaking that hand, right? She visualized and like, I'm gonna get there.
Visualize it. That's right. And I don't think it only has to happen in those big moments. I think that when we're able to incorporate that way of thinking and that way of being, like literally create the reality that we are seeking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, yes, for her, it was the doctorate that she received, and kudos to our girl, right? But I think even in making claims about who we want to be as people, our character. I want to be this kind person. I want to be gentle. I want to be loving. I want to be open and inviting. Like I can claim that. I can visualize myself interacting with folks.
Yeah.
I can visualize myself hugging my mom, right? Until that is actually realized in the physical. So I'm just enjoying the process, girl.
I love it. I love it. And are you writing down, journaling this part of it and things that are filling your cup to remind yourself that these are things that fill your cup and that you love?
Yes. There, I have so many different journals going on. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I definitely, and I've been doing my 5-minute recording, so a lot of this goes on there as well.
Yeah.
So there's definitely different, I guess, platforms that I'm using so that I can make sure that this is all going down.
Yeah.
And it's not a coincidence that I decided this year to start recording, because I think that the evolution is going to be that great.
Yeah.
That it needs to be,
documented.
Seen, from a day-to-day basis. Because we all owe this to ourselves.
Yeah. You owe it to yourself. Like, you have one beautiful life, and we owe it to ourselves to enjoy this. Like, we don't need to stay in that darkness. And that is the light that will give people who also have been through a lot of stuff, whatever people have been through, to realize, like, whatever situation you had before, you can't get out of it. And let's tell you our story, and like, you tell us your story and how you got through it, and the steps that you took. Because I think I read something also where it was like, you have to figure out like habits, like your daily habits that fill your cup, that make you feel joyful. Like, some people need to wake up early so they can have, their exercise in, their yoga in, their meditation. And once they do that and fill their cup, then they feel more, complete, when now they're able to give out to other people. Because if you're in depletion and insufficient funds of your own things that make you happy, then you're constantly playing catch up and you're feeling guilty. You're like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, I can give this to somebody and this to somebody.
Yeah. And one of the things that I read, which I thought was amazing, it's like this 22 point chart that gives you, I guess, different emotional points.
Mm-hmm.
So the top being joy, fulfillment, exhilaration, and 22 or 23, 22, I think, is depression, hopelessness,
Mm-hmm.
right? And what they explain is, like, if you're in a state of depression, there's very little possibility that you can jump from depression all the way to the state of feeling joy and exhilaration.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a range of emotions, basically. And as I said, 22 being depression, but right before depression is anger. And maybe before anger is frustration.
Mm.
And maybe before frustration is, it's a slew,
Oh,
right?
I need this list.
Yeah, right. And what they say is hopelessness is, it's literally the bottom of the barrel. Like you feel totally disconnected. You're not, you're just in a space there,
Yeah.
you're breathing, but you're not living.
Yeah.
Right. But if you intentionally try to move from depression to anger, that is progress. Because at least with anger, there's something that you're holding as a point of
feeling. And
healing.
so you're actually moving up as you're going. Yeah.
Moving up.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much what they explain is, don't let other people tell you, well, you're angry and it's not the right thing to do. Because on the outside looking in, like, oh, Linda's wilding. She's so angry and she's knocking shit down, or whatever the case may be, or however it is that your anger manifests,
Mm-hmm.
right? To the outside world, it may seem unproductive. But if you know where you were in terms of your feeling, like, you'll be able to guide yourself out of those states.
Yeah.
If we start looking like on the range of that list, it'll help us be able to get to a point of feeling better.
Yeah.
Without thinking that it's totally like, there's no way that I'm going to be at this joyful state. You don't have to get there. You don't have to make that big jump. So I'll send you the list.
I like that because then you'll realize, like, the states that you're in, you eventually get out of it, because you're like, oh, okay, well, if I'm depressed, but then I'm angry and frustrated or whatever, I'm actually moving up on the list of healing and feeling better.
Right. And can I tell you, I can't remember, and I left my Post-its, because while I was reading the book, I was like, I need to write this down. In fact, I want to have the list in black and white. But when I was reading it, I was like, it just makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of knowing thyself. Like, you don't need for somebody to come and tell you that you're being effed up because you're responding in a way, knowing that with what you understand, that moving up to that part was way better than where you were.
Yeah.
And it just speaks to us being responsible for our growth and our learning, and being able to shut out and shut down, certain things and certain people, because only we know what we need for ourselves.
Yeah.
As long as we're not in a space of harming somebody, and it's not coming from a place of malintent, we need to honor ourselves and literally, F what others may think, because I know what I'm doing to grow.
Yeah.
And people don't start to honor you until they see the final product.
Exactly.
They don't see the little steps in between.
Oh, we're honoring it every week.
Every week, you know what I'm saying? But again, for the outside world, they don't necessarily see that part, and I think it's important, and it's my responsibility, because I understand that I say it out loud, so that folks understand that this is work, and it's hard.
Yeah.
And I'm claiming what my life looks like, and I just need it to be said now, so that people can understand, like, I didn't have to wait for that thing to be what it was for me to make my claims. Like I'm claiming it from now.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love that we can see this process and this journey and where you are now, because it's beautiful and it will help other people to hear this from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love
It's
it.
totally worth it.
And it's like a visual diary of the journey.
Yeah.
And then you can pass this on to your kids and they can
Yeah.
see like, well, this was mom's journey and it'll help me when I need those tips and tricks to get
Yep.
through a point in my life.
Yep. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. It's just been totally amazing. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you for even, giving me the opportunity, because I think all of this has been a part of where I am right now.
Yeah.
Um, I, we talked about it before. I'm able to see myself. I'm able to, appreciate or correct or be accountable. All of that has been a part of the development of my realizations now. So
Mm-hmm.
I thank you, like such an angel, for providing this platform, for providing this space. And I appreciate you so much. I truly do. Like your work speaks for itself, and I'm just looking forward to moving forward and continuing this journey.
Thank you so much. And I think it's going to just really help everybody else as well, just to see these diaries of us in our evolution to get to a space where we're just grateful, happy, joyful. And it's really good to be able to see yourself, because there's nothing like this to really see yourself fully,
Yeah.
to hear your voice and see your inflections and see what kind of state you're in. You're like, oh my God, like, oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
all right, well, that was that day. I felt that way. And, I don't get myself down on like it being perfect. It was
Right.
just how I was, and that was the process of it.
Yeah, and I think it also speaks to, like, I'm not who I was yesterday, today.
Yeah.
And in those moments, whatever version of myself that shows up, like I want to be able to honor that with the wrong words being said, or not being able to convey a message. Like it's all okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
You
Yeah,
know?
like we don't need to be perfect. We just need to be present and just, be able to sit in grace of where we're at. And that's where we were, and it's okay.
Yeah. I think that of all of the exchanges that we've had, this is the most comfortable that I've been,
Mhm.
and I'm because I'm not in a space where I'm overthinking what I need to say, or even thinking about something that I said that maybe I need to correct. Like just, taking everything for what it is and
Yeah.
just appreciating it.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. And I see the light that you are glowing in today, and I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. You're all a part of this.
Yeah, because it takes a while. Like I loved it when eventually I got to the point where I would be able to just to click on Zoom, record, and just jump on and be able to have conversations where I won't have that anxiety of like trying to be perfect and saying the perfect things. And that's a beautiful space to eventually get into. But
Yeah.
as you do more, you just get more comfortable with it. You're like, well, this is just who I am. I'm not trying to be anybody else. It's like Oprah thought that she was trying to, I think, be Barbara Walsh, right? And then eventually she's like, no, I'm just gonna be myself. And that translates beautifully on camera. And it was her therapy to just be herself. And that's who I'm being on these podcasts, is just myself.
Yep. And allowing yourself to be yourself, it attracts more of the people who appreciate that.
Yeah.
And that's what we want.
Mhm.
We want to create a circle of people that can see us and love us and allow us to love them.
Yeah.
And just create that, because, there's always going to be the outside world. And I think that with having an anchor, it just allows you to be able to kind of manage
Mhm.
those things that are not necessarily in alignment with who you are
Yeah.
and what
Yeah.
you stand for.
Yeah.
You know, you learn how to manage that better, because once you understand who you are,
Yeah.
like it just makes you unshakable.
Yeah. And then like, even if you wrote down like a beautiful little like chart of like an anchor point of like, here are the things that I don't feel good about. Here's what gives me light and, energy and good vibrations, and making sure to do at least a couple of those every single day. That
Yeah,
would definitely be a great tip. Have you been stepping?
I didn't start that yet.
Well, either way,
I
you're
didn't start
glowing.
that
You're still glowing. So I was wondering,
yet.
did you step? Because I know stepping makes you glow too. So
Yes. I cut my hair even shorter, and it's all in preparation for me to just go in.
mhm.
So that's up next.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, you're getting ready for it. To each
Yeah,
little, literal
I'm
steps that you're getting to there.
I'm definitely getting ready for it.
I
You
love
know,
it.
I can see it in my mind. It's happening already.
I love it. I love it. I so appreciate it. And I love this update of how you're doing. Anything
Yeah.
else that you want to give out to people?
Well, one thing I wanted to mention before we go off is next week I'm going to be doing the advanced class in person.
Oh my God.
So I'm super, super excited about that. I think I probably would have felt a bit of angst, and it's not to say that it won't happen, because I'm going to be in a space where I literally do not know anybody,
Yeah.
you know, but still feeling excited and looking forward to it. Like it literally could not have come at a better time.
That's perfect. Perfect
You
timing.
know? Perfect timing. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. And all I have to say is I love y'all, and just know that every day that you wake up, you're on a good side of things.
Yeah.
So
Love and light every day. Just keep pushing.
appreciate your breath, and know that, if it's not great right now, it will be. And if it is great, just, I'm pumping my fist for it to keep going for everybody.
I love it. And I appreciate you so much for taking space and to show us your journey. And I can't wait till next time.
Yes, likewise. Love
Thank
you.
you.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Love you. Enjoy the day. Bye.
Bye.